What's up, y'all? Welcome to a new episode of the Misguided Goddess podcast. I'm Goddess Sion. Sisters, how y'all feel? Brothers, y'all all right? Well, I hope y'all been good. I hope y'all been blessed. I know I've been gone since November, but I'm back, baby, and I miss y'all, okay? I don't know if y'all seen the little tangent I went on Instagram, but I went out tonight and I have finally been inspired. I finally was able to be around some free-flowing creative energy, and I just feel like that was exactly what I needed in order to get back to you, in order to get back to me, in order to get back to we. Okay? So, Goddess Sion, where you been, girl? What you been up to? Okay, so let's take it back. The last episode I did was talking about self-care and me being the self-care captain and what that means to me. And I recorded that back in November. And I don't know if I mentioned this in that last episode, but I moved. So like life really started lifing. And it was like, okay, sister, you need to kind of figure out what you want to do and what you want your life to be like and what your vision is and what you really want out of life and what you want to put your energy into. And it was like, first and foremost, sister, you got to finish this grieving process. That's number one. It was so many things that I had to like grieve from and let go. I know most of y'all probably remember, I lost somebody that was really close to me last year. Unfortunately, due to suicide. I don't think I actually ever said those words on a podcast, but yeah. So that just it just had me like, it had me just not feeling really like myself. It was so crazy, and I've made peace with that. I went through the grieving process and I still pray for his family and his children. But what we had was amazing. This person really taught me a lot, poured a lot into me, put me on to a lot of things. So it was just like, kind of doing this and then remembering that. And it's just like, how can you do one and not have this person, So it just kind of got a little crazy for me emotionally. And I had to just kind of, do my self-care, be the self-care captain to myself. And just kind of figure out what's the best way for me to heal from that. So, because it was like, not only that, it was like in 2021, 2022, it was insane, bro. It was like so many people were leaving my life, and not just like leaving internally, but well, not internally. That's not what I want to say. Not leaving for eternity, but just leaving my life overall. And it's just like, even when like friendships end or relationships end, you have to grieve that stuff. And I don't know about y'all, but I never was taught how to properly grieve. So I've been in therapy for like a year and a half now. It might be 2 years now. Now that I think about it, it might be 2 years. And so one thing that me and my therapist really had to talk about was like teaching me how to grieve and what that looks like and what that means. I know I've mentioned this on the pod a bunch of times before, but I actually lost my father when I was 7 years old. And that was the first person who I ever known that died. And I didn't know what that meant. And it wasn't until I was about 10 or 11 years old that I fully understood what being dead means, So from 7 to 10, that's 3 whole years where I just kind of was like getting used to not seeing my dad anymore. And I never understood like how to grieve from that, right? And then after that, you live life and people pass away, it's a part of life. But it's like I lost a friend and that like sent me into like this super depression because I was having all of these feelings and thoughts and emotions and I had nobody to talk to about it. And I had people to talk to, but nobody ever made it clear, like, you can come to me to talk to me about this. And that's like no shade to nobody. It's not no shade or anything because people don't know unless you talk about it. Like, unless you come out and say, I'm feeling kind of sad today because this happened. Nobody's going to be able to say, okay, well, when you're sad, you do this or you do that. And I didn't have that, but I also didn't know how to communicate those emotions, right? So what I realized is that I was emotionally ignorant a lot for a big chunk of my life. And I realized, like, talking to like friends and family and just like meeting other people in the world, I'm not the only person that's like that. So I had this idea and I literally wrote this podcast episode out like probably back in January, and it's April. Today is April 14th as I'm recording this. And I wrote down what is emotional intelligence. And I wrote out this whole podcast episode where I wanted to talk about emotions and emotional intelligence. And I'm still going to write it out. I mean, I'm still going to talk about it. That's not what this pod is going to be about, but I'm still going to talk about that. It's just that I wasn't ready to discuss it when I wrote it out. So I couldn't come to y'all with that, But anyway, just kind of going back to what I was talking about, being like a child and experiencing something that life-changing and drastic, and then not having the correct resources to kind of help you guide you through that and guide you through those emotions and through that life change, because that's a huge life change. Like, you're not ever going to see your parent ever again. This is a person that you see all the time, you spend time with, you've built a connection with, and then you're a child and then you never see them again. And it's confusing and it's painful. And then like, not until I was an actual adult was I actually able to like say, wait a minute, maybe I should have been in therapy then, to kind of talk to like a counselor about that at that time. And I mean, I don't know what my other siblings feel like, but I'm pretty sure when they listen to this episode, they may think like, okay, well, yeah, that did happen. And then, each and every one of our life paths have been different, So I can't speak on how they felt about losing our dad, but I can speak about how I felt about losing my dad, And it's really tough. So like when I lost my friend, it was as if I never healed from that. So my point in this episode is to talk about how when we experience these things and then we never heal from them, we continuously go through these different life lessons where we are trying to learn this lesson. And it's like, because, we are on a spiritual journey here, right? Before we come, and y'all probably didn't know this, so now I'm telling you, before you came here and can't get my word out. Before you reincarnated into this lifetime and this timeline, your spirit wrote this contract out. This is what I want to experience when I go, because y'all got to remember, we're spirits. Okay, we have a soul, and this soul is infinite. That's why when people die, like for instance, Whitney Houston, right? Even bigger, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson died in 2009. Michael Jackson has been a part of generations since, what was that? Jackson 5 came out in the 70s. They came out in the 70s. He dominated in the 80s. He dominated in the 90s. 2000s was a little shaky for him. Still was Michael Jackson. You can't take that from him. In 2079, people are still going to know who Michael Jackson is. Like, that's not going to go away, right? His spirit is always going to be among us. I remember when y'all know I talk about this all the time. Pharrell Williams is my first love. So Pharrell is a part of this band called NERD. NERD stands for No One Ever Really Dies. I remember the day I found that out and I was like, damn, that's really true. Because whatever year that was when I found that out, I still remember the exact thought that I had. I remember thinking, damn, that's really true. No one ever really dies, because we still talk about Albert Einstein. What year did Einstein die? Physically, his body left this earth, but his energy is still here. His lessons are still here. Everything that he learned and wrote down and put out and manufactured and taught us is still here. It's 2023 and we still talk about Einstein, Albert Einstein. We still talk about him, you know? And it's like, that's on kind of on a larger scale. That's probably not the person that you're talking to at Thanksgiving dinner with your cousins about, right? But maybe you're talking about that uncle who was everybody's favorite uncle. And then he passed away. But his energy, every time y'all talk about him, y'all laugh. Y'all don't cry. Y'all don't get sad. You get happy. You remember those good times. That's what I'm talking about. Like that energy, it doesn't die, right? So you have these experiences and these people pass on and nobody ever really tells us like, this is what this means. Nobody ever really breaks that down unless, of course, you know, you have a family structure where they're going to sit down and tell you the real and then really explain it to you. But if you come from a family like most African American people have, where people in your family are emotionally ignorant, and that's no diss, that's no shade to anybody, because you don't know what you don't know until you realize you don't know it. Now, once you're made aware of what you don't know and you just continue on wanting to be ignorant, then that's what you messed up at, because you're choosing to be ignorant instead of choosing to be intelligent, right? Anyway, so as I was saying, that's kind of where the difficulty comes in at. And I know that I said African American people. I can only speak on African American people because I'm a black woman in America. So to my white listeners out there, my Mexican listeners out there, my Asian listeners out there, this could definitely be the same for y'all too. I just don't know y'all, so I can't really speak on y'all, right? But no shade, no tea, no shade. Now, because everybody can be emotionally ignorant, you know, like I realized that in me doing the research for the episode on emotional intelligence and being emotionally ignorant, I realized that there's so many emotions, right, that we can experience in a lifetime. And it's so many names and there's so many emotions that we may never experience in our lifetime. Right? But there's a range and there's different emotions. There's rage, there's happiness, there's hatred, there's anger, there's joy, there's depression, there's anxiety, there's bliss, there's balance, there's complacency, there's there's all of these different emotions. And if you're not made aware of how you're feeling, how can you explain what you're feeling and how can you heal from that? Right? Like if you can't put a word on it, how can you know how to heal from it? Right? So in the time of my grieving, I had to understand that that's what was happening. I was grieving. I lost my friend, and that made me realize I never truly healed from losing my father. I never truly healed from losing my friend who was like a brother to me. And I lost him when I was like 14. So that just sent me into like child, it was ugly. But because of who I am spiritually, I was able to work through the grief, because I don't think I ever said this on a podcast before. I don't think I ever said this before, but I have this type of spirituality where I can get like messages and visions and have dreams and everything like that. And it's like, maybe y'all might be listening to this and like, girl, this girl sounds like she is crazy, but this is really the real, right? And I did the spiritual work in order to be, I came here with this connection. I can't even lie to y'all. Came here with this connection. But as I'm getting older, I'm also starting to understand and realize the power that this is, having this connection, right? So again, came here with this, but I had to realize that I never truly healed from those past experiences. So then when this happened, the way, what's a good analogy? Oh, analogy I like to use. This was me taking the Band-Aid off a gunshot wound. Basically, it was what that was, because it was like, you think that you've healed from this and you feel better about it, and you finally kind of come to peace with the fact that you're not going to see this person anymore. And it's like you come to peace with that. But then sometimes when you're alone and you can hear that person laughing in your head and you just kind of sit in that moment, that's when you realize, like, damn, I'm never going to see them again. I'm never going to hear they laugh again. And all I'm going to have is these memories. So you try so hard to hold on to those memories. And nothing's wrong with that. If anything, to me, that's the beautiful part about it, because you have those memories. And that's a big part of the reason why, like, I decided that in my life, I want to make a lot of memories. Like, that's the reason why people start traditions, right? Because it's like, if you have a tradition, especially like, for instance, All Hallows Day, right? So on All Hallows Day, and other places might not have this, but I'm from New Orleans. As y'all know, we have like above ground cemetery, so we're able to do things like this. But All Hallows Eve actually represents, the Day of the Dead. This is more kind of like, I'm gonna be honest, y'all, I don't really know the name of it, but this is more like a Hispanic thing. Like this, I learned when I did like my, I'm going to talk more about my spiritual journey, because I went through each and every kind of religion and just learned as much as I could learn about whatever, spirituality and religion has always been interesting to me. So that's what I spend majority of my time kind of learning about. But when I learned about what the Day of the Dead is, this is the day where you kind of honor the people in your family who's passed over to the other side. So some people like to go to the graves and they clean the graves and they replace the flowers and they decorate and they leave gifts, they leave offerings and things of that nature. So with things like that and being able to do things like that, it's like, okay, now I have this relationship with the spirit world. So now I know for a fact, my people ain't really dead. Their energy is always going to be here. You feel me? So, that was though making those kind of traditions, that's important. Making those kind of memories. Like, if you never went, like, say for instance, I'm pretty sure like in this age, we're pretty older. The people, my demographic, shall I say, because I look at the numbers, so I know where y'all be and how old y'all is, and if y'all male or female. And thank y'all for listening. But with the demographic, right? More than likely, now, if you have your grandparents, God bless you. Please keep them close. Continue on making memories. Love up on them as much as you can. Honor them as much as you can. Be of service to them as much as you can. But majority of us, we don't have our grandparents anymore. So we hold on to those memories that we do have of them. We cherish those moments that we do have with them. And then we also keep those traditions that they started going. And that's the way that you honor them. And that way, once they have gone over to the other side, you are still honoring their spirit. You're still honoring their energy. You're still honoring the fact that they were a part of your life. And doing that, stuff like that, that makes the grieving process a little bit easier, because it's like, yeah, they're not physically here anymore, but in your heart and in your soul that you can still feel their energy with you wherever you are. You can think about them and you can bring them back to your timeline. You can bring them back to your mind, and you can just kind of feel that energy again. Like if you think really hard about maybe like your favorite day, right? If you think really hard about it, you close your eyes, you can probably smell exactly what that day smelled like. And I know if I think really hard, I used to have a t-shirt from Teddy, and I call him Teddy. He was my homeboy. And one day he told me he wanted me to start calling him Teddy Rossi because he was fancy. And I did. And I did. I used to have this t-shirt that he left at my house. And if I think about it really hard, I can not only smell what that shirt smells like, I can see him in the shirt that I'm talking about. So things like that, I'm happy to still have those memories. But getting over the fact that you're not ever going to be able to physically see this person in this lifetime ever again, that's tough. It's tough to deal with. It is. It's tough to deal with. So it took me a long time to work through that. And then not only did I lose my friend, I lost a cousin this year. I lost an uncle, not this year, between these last 2 years. I lost an uncle, I lost a cousin, I lost my best friend. Certain relationships ended. So it was just like this big ass transformation with like all of these people leaving, but then all of these new beginnings started happening as well. And as you all know, I do tarot. So in tarot, when you do a reading and you see like a tower moment, you know, the tower moment always means like there's going to be some kind of wild ass ending. Something that you ain't never thought was going to happen. But then you know that when that tower moment hits, that ending is going to be a new beginning as well. You know, and one thing about life, we live our lives in cycles. I don't know if y'all ever realize that, but you do. If you have like a person in your life and you kind of say, you know, me and this person don't really align with each other, I'm just going to ghost them and never talk to them again. And then the next person you meet, they remind you exactly of that person, is because with that person, you didn't close that cycle out. So until you close out that cycle or learn whatever lesson that person was brought into your life to teach you, you're going to continue on meeting people just like that. Sorry to scare y'all. Hope I didn't, but I'm just telling y'all the truth because that's the way that life works. You know, we live in these cycles, and that's the reason why people say like karma is a bitch. Like, oh, karma's going to come around. Karma's going to come around. It's because we live in a continuous cycle. However, once you learn your lesson, boom, now you're able to move on to your next life cycle. So I had to do all of this grieving, all of this healing. And I had to actually, the reason I feel like I had to do the actual work to heal the grieving is because number one, I never really grieved. I never experienced that. So in 2020, when I kind of started, to me, 2020 is when I started my new life. It's when I started my new life. If y'all go back to the past podcasts, like the ones that came out in like 2019, I was depressed through most of those. You know, my life was changing a lot. I was coming up on some cycles that were ending and I wasn't handling it well. So 2020 was where I kind of like woke up, snapped out of it, and I started my life over anew. Now, since I started my life over anew, I've had to rediscover different emotions. At one point in my life, I kind of became, how people were saying like, oh, I'm a savage. I ain't got no feelings, this, that, and the third. First of all, that shit is fake. Leave it alone. It's fake. You got feelings and you got a lot of feelings. You ain't lying to nobody but yourself. You ain't hurting nobody but yourself. I remember when I started hearing people say that and I was like, that sounds so dumb. Like, why are you saying that? But even though I'm hearing them say that and then I'm thinking that thought in my own head, I was living the same life. Well, living the same lie. Because it was like, I'm not a savage and I don't have feelings, but I was neglecting my feelings because I was pushing them away as if they wasn't there. And I didn't want to deal with it. So that's what it was. But when you constantly push your feelings to the side, push the way that you really feel, pushing it down and pushing it down and pushing it down. Number one, don't do that shit because that's how you going to end up sick. That's number one. Ask Louise Hay. That's how you end up sick. That was the lesson that I learned from my girl. Anyway, I'm saying from my girl as if this lady ain't... This lady probably died when she was like 78 years old. But anyway, I learned a lot from her. I really love Louise Hay. If y'all like are at a point in y'all life where y'all kind of like need some like new energy, need some new inspiration, look into Louise Hay. I'm telling y'all, life-changing work. Anyway, so what I had to do was I had to start over from the beginning. I had to learn what each feeling was like. I had to learn, what does rage feel like in my body? What does happiness feel like in my body? What does joy feel like in my body? Like, what does that feel like? And I feel like when I set out on that journey, God damn it, the universe listened, because I got every emotion on that emotional scale. I've experienced them all. And it's like, if you really are aware of them when you're experiencing them, then you'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, I mean, I know what this means. Like, I'm feeling content. And I knew that I had like started actually really for real healing from the grief when I started to feel content. And I started to feel content kind of around like January. But then I got sick. And then I was like, wait, this ain't contentment. Something off, because I don't get sick. I don't get sick. The whole pandemonium time, I didn't get sick not one time. But matter of fact, I'm lying. Hold on. I did get sick, but I got sick because I was doing the detox. So all of that nasty started coming out and I got sick from that. But pandemonium time, nah, I was outside in the backyard. I was good. And then in January, I got really sick for like a week and I was like, something got to be going on. Like something's wrong. This ain't right. What's happening? Checked in with myself, kind of figured out where I was emotionally, figured out where I was feeling, like how I was feeling spiritually. And then I was like, oh, that's the reason why now I'm feeling like this physically. I thought that I was content. That wasn't contentment. I didn't actually feel genuinely content until March. And now I don't feel content anymore. I feel like there is more that I want out of life. There's more that I want to do. There's more that I want to see. There's more that I want to experience. There's more that I want to talk about. So for right now, I am working on figuring out what is the vision. I know that I want to do my podcast. I know that I want to start taking more life coach clients. I know that I want to take more tarot clients. I know that I want to create more products for Gifts from a Goddess. I enjoy talking about self-care. I enjoy talking about self-love. I enjoy teaching about those things. It's important. I never had a person growing up that taught me, this is how you love yourself. This is how you care for yourself. This is what self-worth is. I never had that. So I had to become that. I had to be the person to go out into the world and figure out, this is no, this is yes, this is no, this is yes, and which we all have. I'm not special because of that. I mean, I'm special, but not because of that. We all do that. Again, nobody's walked our path. And we can follow somebody else's footsteps, but trust me, once you get to one crossroad that person got to, you're going to be like, oh, hell no, I ain't going to that crossroad. I'm going to this road. So then you're going to go off on your own path. So again, you can follow in somebody's footsteps, but that don't mean that you're taking the same path as them. You taking this own path, the path of your own. You're taking your own path. And what my goal is to teach you, not even teach you, but help guide you to deciding what is that path, right? So I know that I mentioned just now taking on more life coaching clients. I never really talked about that on the podcast because I never really realized that was actually what I was doing. I didn't understand that this was a tool for coaching as well. But I want to teach y'all about self-love. I want to teach y'all about self-empowerment. I want to teach y'all about that. Not to say because you don't need nobody else. That's not what I'm teaching. I'm teaching community, but I'm teaching that it starts with you. You have to be the person to say, I have been holding this trauma bag on me for the past 15 years and I'm ready to release it. I have been holding on to this grief for the past 20 years and I'm ready to release it. I've been holding on to this negativity, this negative self-talk, this low self-worth for 15 years and I'm ready to release it. So my people who feel like that, that's who I'm here for. That's what my coaching is about. I want to coach you on how to love yourself better. I want to teach you how to learn yourself and become so self-aware that when you're feeling uncomfortable genuinely in your spirit, that you're going to say, you know what? I ain't feeling this. I'm out. This ain't for me. I'm out. You gonna be like Trey in the car. Let me out. That's kind of where I want to go with this, So the podcast, the gifts from a goddess, the coach, all of that is pieces of a puzzle. Because what I want to teach the world is how important it is to know who you are and love who you are. Know what you want and then go get that shit, man. That's really, really, really what it is. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, totally transparent right now. I had to stop talking to y'all because I'm like, hold on. I ain't practicing what I preach. But it was because I couldn't practice what I preached at the time. I was dealing with the grief. I was dealing with life changes. I was changing, like I jumped off the porch head first. No plan, no goal, no guidance, no vision. I ain't start calling myself the misguided goddess for no reason. Like I really jumped off the porch misguided. Didn't know what self-worth was. Didn't know. I mean, I never really had an issue with self-esteem, but I never knew what self-worth was. They don't talk about that enough. So that's why I'm going to come in. I want to talk about that. I want you to feel so worthy of your dreams, your goals, your aspirations that can't nobody shake you. Can't nobody move you. I want to inspire that in you. That's where I'm coming from. That's what my goal is. I want to inspire that in you. I want you to know for a fact you could do whatever you want. You could have whatever you want. You could be whatever you want. Want. Need. Whatever it is, you can have it. You can do it. You can be it. And that's how we gonna live our life. That's how we gonna thrive. I told myself when I was 29 years old, I'm going into my 30s and I'm gonna be living and thriving and doing whatever the fuck I want. That's what I'm gonna do. I wasn't doing that. So I felt like I was a fake to y'all. I felt like I was a fraud in y'all. I felt like it was that motherfucking imposter syndrome. I'm sorry for cursing so much, y'all. My bad. I'm trying to get away from cursing so much because I really do want to start talking like, yeah. Anyway, I want to stop cursing as much, because I don't really curse this. Well, anyway, that's something I'm working on within myself. I curse. I say fuck a lot, but, I try to be respectful. I never know when my mom's going to listen to this. My mom's not used to me cursing. She's not used to me. My mom don't even like cursing in front of me. You know what I mean? So anyway, whatever. But that's what I want to do. Like, I really do. I want to inspire you all to chase your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, and be inspired by me chasing my own dreams, goals, and aspirations. But I wasn't living like that because I couldn't focus on what I really wanted to focus on. But I'm building. I'm doing the groundwork. I'm doing the foundation work. So I know that, like, I take a couple months off here and there, and then I come back talking about, yeah, y'all, we're going to be on the pod every once a week and blah, blah, blah. And then it never happens. But it's not me going back on my word. It's just I really want to do that. And then other stuff start popping up, or either I have an idea to do something else, and then I got to kind of work on this idea because I only have so much time allotted to me because I have a day job. Y'all, please start supporting my businesses so I can quit this job. Thank you. Anyway, so what you doing right now, Goddess Sion, right now, other than so desperately wanting to do my podcast every week, I am actually training to become like a licensed life coach. I feel like I would be a really good person to be a life coach. I feel like I'm good at it. I feel like I already do it. Random strangers always come up to me anyway, asking me for life advice. And I feel like I give good advice. I give good guidance. Even though I was misguided, that don't mean that I gotta misguide you. Right? I was misguided. I'm the one that went out into the wilderness and fought all of the lions, tigers, and bears. And then I came back to the hood and said, hey, y'all, it's all good. You can walk this path. Now you can do whatever you want to do. Oh, you got a tiger on the way? Let me teach you how to fight this tiger. Oh, you done stumbled upon a bear? Let me teach you how to get past this bear. They got a fire-breathing dragon over there? Bet. I killed 2 fire-breathing dragons. Let me teach you how I did it. Yeah, you gonna do it your own way? But if I can give you the advice to guide you down the right path, I'm gonna do that. And that's kind of what I'm really working on right now. That's what I'm really focusing on. And I don't always like to talk about stuff before I like push it out into the world. But I'm so excited, y'all. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. This podcast is, I got noticed on the street one day. I got noticed on the street. She was like, oh, wait, you Sion from Misguided Goddess podcast, right? And I'm like, oh, shit, yeah, that's me. Hey. So if I can keep that up and keep that going and keep on inspiring you to love yourself, to learn yourself, it's more so the self-awareness that I want everybody to kind of learn. Because when you learn your self-awareness, then you understand what your strengths and your weaknesses are. And then that's how you learn how important self-worth is. I feel like in a lot of in a lot of people's childhoods, we didn't really necessarily learn what like self-worth was. And I can say that based off the people that I've met. Like I've met people who has 0% self-worth. I've been a person who had low self-worth. I worked through that. I built myself back up. I learned how to love myself. I became aware of who I am, how I am, what I need, what I want. Stuff like that is important. This life is a journey. This is an experience. And let's make the best of it. Like, being sad and poor is just, keep it away from me. That's not the energy I want around me. Okay. I don't. I remember like for 2 months straight telling my therapist every week, I don't want to be sad anymore. Being sad sucks. Okay. It sucks. It fucking sucks. But you know what sucks more than being sad? Being depressed. When you're in the bed and you can't get out of the bed, when you're just laying there and you have no willpower, you have no motivation, you feel like less than dirt. That fucking sucks. Okay? I never want that for any of you. So if you all can take anything from me, take this. Whenever you feeling like you don't feel like yourself again, tap in with you. Sit down. Do your meditations. Ask yourself, what do you need from me? That's something that I learned from, and again, as I learn and as I grow, I'm always going to come back and tell y'all exactly what I've been learning, exactly what I've been growing, exactly what I've been working on. So last year, I did a lot of work learning about, learning from this wonderful, wonderful lady. She's an amazing like medium. I wouldn't consider her a medium. She channels, she's a channel. I'm going to say that. She's a channel. I don't know what to call her. Anyway, her name is Esther Hicks. Esther has this wonderful, talented gift, like this amazing gift. Well, she can channel this infinite being, and they call it Abraham. Abraham teaches us about life and how to be and how to grow and how to relax and how to get into like being able to just vibrate on the same frequency of everything that you want, need, and desire, right? Learned all about that. That's definitely coming up. Like we're definitely going to discuss that. I have a book this episode is not about emotional intelligence. I have an entire episode, flashcards written down where I'm definitely going to go in depth about that. Have it written out already. I just wasn't prepared, me, myself personally, to give y'all that message. I don't want to fake the funk here. I don't want to not practice what I preach here. I want to give y'all the real and be as genuine, as transparent as I possibly can at all times. I was not prepared to give y'all that message at all. I'm getting there, but I was not there. So that's the reason why this is not that. I just got so inspired tonight by what I witnessed. Shout out to Cubs the Poet. He did. Oh my God. It was amazing. Like that energy in the room. It was, I needed it. The whole day I was looking forward to this. I knew that this was the energy that I needed. And I knew that I just felt it. I'm like, this is going to inspire me to do my podcast again. But anyway, I started working on these teachings and lessons from this lady named Louise Hay. And she more so teaches about how to look at your life where you are and figure out, what do you want right now? And then figure out, how can you get that? What does that look like? What does that journey look like? What does those steps look like? And every single time I come across these teachings or these lessons or these leaders or these teachers, because basically that's what they are, they're teachers. And every time I come across one, it's always right on time. And it's just like, I can't accept that reading and accept that energy and that knowledge and then just come on here and just spit it right back out at y'all. I don't function like that. I got to let it marinate on me, put my little twang on it. Then I'm going to give it to y'all, right? Because whatever I learn, I want to teach y'all, because whatever I'm learning is how to better guide myself through this life. So yeah, I go by the Misguided Goddess. I'm only misguided because I don't have like a person with the light guiding me through the tunnel of life. It's just me and my flashlight. I'm figuring it out. And you figuring it out too. Don't get me wrong. However, if I could talk about my journey and talk about what I'm learning, and you may be at that point in your life where you're trying to figure out, okay, I don't know what I want next. I don't know how to like manifest this. I don't know how to, I don't want to say manipulate. I don't know how to, what's the word I'm trying to say? Not manifest, not manipulate, maneuver. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know how to really maneuver this, but I got this goal and I don't know how to really maneuver this and make this come into fruition for me. If I could teach y'all that process, that's my goal. If I could inspire you to even think, I want to do this. I'm doing this right now, but I really want to do that. That's going to make me happy. If I can inspire you to say, I'm going to get up in the morning and go jog because that's my goal. My work here is done. That's exactly what I'm doing this podcast for. So even though I'm misguided, that don't mean that I'm not going to look back and look out for my people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the middle child in my family. However, I got little sisters, I got little brothers, I got nieces, nephews, little cousins. And in the ways that I didn't have certain people or places available for me, if I can make that available for them, then I'm good. Like, I never mind looking back, showing love to the hood, showing love to the family. I don't want to say show love to the hood, but because that's my family. That's my family. It ain't no hood. That's my family. But if I could inspire them to like really go for what they want, and that's what I do. Like, that's just who I am. It's a part of who I am. And that's how I got into the life coaching. I've always been a person, you tell me what you want to do, we gonna figure out a plan. Let's figure this out. What's the vision? What you want to do? How can we get there? What's up? It all tied in together. Like I said, in my life, this is all pieces to a puzzle. And my podcast is one of the biggest pieces to my puzzle, because this is the way that I can connect with y'all. I could really speak my true freedom. I could truly speak how I truly feel freely. Like, nobody's stopping me. Nobody's not telling me you can't say this on your podcast. You can't do that on your. This is me. I'm Misguided Goddess. This is what the podcast is. I'm Goddess Sion. Hi, nice to meet you. Hello. And like, I ain't bragging, I ain't boasting. I just want y'all to know the real. Like, I wanted to tap in with y'all just to let y'all know like what I've been working on, what I've been going through, what I've been dealing with, where I've been at. Because I know a bunch of y'all probably been like, well, where you been at, girl? I've been at home healing, figuring out what I want to do next with my life, figuring out what I want to do next with my podcast, figuring out what I want to do next with these businesses. Y'all know I'm working. I'm working. Y'all might not see me. Y'all might not hear from me, but I'm working. Like, even when I can't put out my podcast episodes how I want to, I'm going to still be on Instagram. So, follow me on Instagram at Misguided Goddess Podcast. Another thing I started doing, and I never even mentioned this in the podcast, I started going live every morning on TikTok. I call it my daily vibe. And I basically go on every morning and I do a tarot reading. I use my Rider-Waite tarot deck. I have 2 oracle decks. I put it together as just like a daily vibe of how everybody's feeling. I'm not gonna lie, these past like 2 weeks now, probably 3 weeks, because I haven't done it since March. I think I did 1 episode since March. I kind of had to stop doing it because work has become too stressful for me. So I haven't been having the energy to really pour into doing that. And when you are an energy worker, so like people who do tarot, that's energy workers, spiritual workers. And I don't only do tarot, like I also make baths and oils and such, I concoct things, so I do a lot of energy work. And then I work in a customer service field, basically. So a lot of that has been like draining my energy, and it's just like I had to figure out where can I put what. And I'm figuring out how to get out of that situation so I can really pour myself into what I really, really, truly want to be doing, which is my podcast, doing my daily vibe. And if you haven't been able to catch my daily vibe on TikTok, follow me on TikTok, Goddess Sion. Then subscribe to my YouTube channel. I put all of the live replays on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and type in Goddess Sion, it's there. Of course, follow me on Instagram, Goddess Sion, Misguided Goddess Podcast, all Gifts from a Goddess, all of that jazz. Support me in all of my Black businesses. Thank you very much. So I could get the hell on away from these people with this job, y'all. Come on now. Anyway, so that's one thing that I started doing. I do plan on I plan on getting back into that. I just got some things that I still need to figure out as to how I'm going to do that and what that's going to look like for me. But I have been great. I have been in good spirits. I haven't really been, I got sick in January. I got kind of a little sick again in February, but I understand what those sicknesses came from. Sometimes we drain all of our energy and then we don't have much. So that's how we kind of let our guard down, and then our immune system kind of goes a little weak, and then we'll get sick, right? So keep yourself safe. If you're not overwhelmed with stress or sadness or depression, take your vitamins, eat healthy, drink your water, y'all. Please be drinking y'all water. Get y'all some alkaline water. Please start drinking some lemon water. Drink y'all some coconut water. People be dehydrated and not real. You have to hydrate this body, y'all. This body is a temple. If you listen to your body will tell you exactly what it needs. But you have to be the person to give it to your body. You also have to be the person to check in with yourself. That's the reason why teaching y'all self-awareness is so important to me. If you don't, I'm sorry, I'm beating on my table as I'm talking. That's how I know I'm for real. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but I said that on podcasts in the past, like listen to your body. Your body is literally going to tell you exactly what it needs. You only got this one. It's protecting your spirit. So please, y'all, take care of your body. Okay. Take your vitamins, eat more greens, drink more water. Just try your best. Okay. I don't care if you eat 75,000 cookies a day. Eat you a salad too. Please drink you some water. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So I know I said a lot. I just really wanted to come on and I missed y'all so much. I miss doing my podcast. And it sucks when I have this want to do something, but then my energy is just like depleted and I have nothing to give. And y'all know if I can't be fruitful in my giving to you all, I just rather not give. I'm not giving y'all me at 10%. Y'all will never see Sion at 10%. You won't. You will not. Now, I might fool around and get it down to maybe about 25%, but I will not get down to 10% and then present myself to y'all like that, because I wouldn't be giving y'all my full self. I wouldn't be giving y'all my full undivided attention. It just wouldn't happen. And I love y'all too much to do that to y'all. But like I said, the TikTok, once I actually start doing that again, if you just follow me on Instagram, that's my main base That's my main base. That's the main place you can always reach out to me. You want a question, you want to comment, you just want to share some love with me. Maybe you want to reach out to me because you want to book a reading. Maybe you want to become a life coaching client. Reach out to me on Instagram, Misguided Goddess Podcast. That's the easiest way. I check my Instagram all day, every day. I'm on there all the time. That's the one Instagram that I try to make sure that I really keep up, because y'all are who I really care about. I really love y'all. Okay. So it's been great. Oh goodness, it's almost 2:22. Oh, it's 2:22 a.m. Okay. So I'm going to let y'all go. I'm going to post this one in the morning. I ain't going to post it. Yeah, whatever. I'll post it now. Anyway, thank you all so, so much for listening. I appreciate you all more than you ever will know. I know this episode was like so all over the place, but it's, y'all know me. One Take Jake is coming out. I'm giving it to y'all all rough and rugged because motherfuckers love it. Anyway. Before I leave, y'all know I gotta send love to my baby. Spitter dropped the album. I want y'all to go and download it. I want y'all to listen to it. It's amazing for motivational purposes. Him and Jermaine Dupri, man, it's insane. Like, I'm praying that they go on tour together. Because this album is insane. It's only 7 songs long, but it's called For Motivational Use Only. So y'all make sure y'all tap in and go and download that. Go buy that. Stream it on Tidal. Run my baby numbers up. Y'all know I love me some Spitter. That's that. Oh, and you can now go live on Tidal. So if you all follow me on Twitter, I always tweet out my link whenever I go live on Tidal. That way y'all could just kind of vibe with me, see what's up with me, see what y'all, get to know me through my music. I love my music, and y'all know I love my music. Like, that's my first love. I talk about it all the time. Sonic League Radio. Please make sure y'all download our app. Join the Sonic League Discord. Anything that I shout out on my podcast, you can click the link in my bio, my link tree. Everything is in there. Anything you want to know about Goddess Sion, any way you want to support Goddess Sion, click the link tree in my bio. Everything is there. I appreciate you so much. I hope and pray that you all have been amazing in these past couple months when I've been out. But I'm back, baby. What's good? I'm back. And I'm sending you peace and love. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you all so much for your never-ending support. Like, I really appreciate y'all. Every single person that listens to my podcast has bought a shirt from me, bought one of my books. Anything, any way that you've ever supported me, that's love, and I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you 1,000,000 times over. God bless you and your mother. Thank you. I'm gonna let y'all go. I gotta go to bed. Peace, y'all.